You want to sign some players, huh? Not today. Chiefs has been quiet, but everybody else in the league is making moves. The Chiefs are actually better off for it. Welcome to RGR Football. It's Monday Night Live Q&A. You guys are running the show. We're just answering your questions. Obviously, a lot around all this predetermination. All these deals that are being announced today are going to be signed on Wednesday when league year opens. All that is precursors. You guys got yours in the form of one number 95, Chris Jones. So that's the big free agent move. What comes next? It's trying to lock down that lockdown corner. So we're going to have to go through that. We're going to answer all of your questions. Make sure you like, sub, and hit the bell here on YouTube. And if you're listening on audio, jump back onto the video section on YouTube because that's where it always starts. Dan runs this. This is my man, Dan. Captain, Lieutenant Dan. That's what we're going with
That's
now,
what
Lieutenant
it is.
Dan.
It's too late now.
Yeah, okay.
It's only been 5 years, but here we go.
Okay, all right, we'll call it Captain. That's fine. So this is Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. If you don't know us, we run Chiefs Kingdom here on YouTube for the most part. And we're going to tell you exactly what it is. Not like what it is. We're going to tell you exactly what it is, where it's the Chiefs or somebody else. And we're going to give it all to you for free here on the channel. You might have to watch a couple of ads. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to get on the show, you can do that as well. Hit us with the super chat. Join the memberships if you want even more detail. Obviously, you can see our draft work because after this kind of frenzy here the next week or 10 days, it's all draft all the time. Dan's deep into it. So am I. We have it all over on NFL33.com and RogueAPC.com where you're going to get our draft guide again. You're going to get the athletic matrix. You can see all the articles that we're putting together on NFL 33. And obviously here, Locked On Chiefs, the fantasy draft show over on Cover One, where you can hear Dan. What else am I missing, Dan?
Oh no, it's just a draft show. It's not a fantasy draft show. I work over at Football Guys too, but we're keeping it fresh. We're keeping going, and obviously, you guys know that this draft right now is at the forefront. That's where most of my time and energy is spent right now, doing grades, going over film, and I just recorded Wednesday's film room on our next player. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I think you all know because it was supposed to be last week. Things change quickly in the NFL, so we'll be talking about him on Wednesday.
I like it. I'm not going to give it away probably till tomorrow because I can't keep my damn mouth shut. So that's the way that goes. So here's what it comes down to: is it's quiet right now on the Western Front, especially the AFC Western Front, because Chiefs don't have any cap space right now. They're 5 over, as I just looked at over the cap here a little bit. And that's due to Chris. Looks like they snuck in a James Winchester re-signing that I was unaware of. Correct. Chris let me know. You can guys hear a little bit more about Chris's opinion as well as everything he's doing over on the cap on Locked On Chiefs if you guys want to check that out as well. But here and today is about the team building aspect of it. I'm not as concerned about the cap other than it's an obstacle they have to overcome. It's for me, in terms of priority, I was very concerned. If Chris didn't get done, they had to have somebody else that could push the pocket, that could penetrate gaps.
Yeah.
They could chase quarterbacks. I was hoping to see a lot of Christian Wilkins. Well, looks like I'm going to see a lot of Christian Wilkins because he ended up going to Las Vegas, and he and Max Crosby are going to be a pretty powerful duo, in my opinion. God forbid they get Tyree figured out. I don't bet on that, but
all they're going to do is rush him from the 3-tech. It don't matter. Just put him next to Christian Wilkins and say, hey, you're going to rush next to this guy. This is not rocket surgery anymore. They got 3 guys that can rush the passer. They'll just figure it out.
Yeah. Well, they'll try anyway. I'm not convinced of it.
I mean, Tyree's one that has to really figure it out, right? He's the one that has to figure it out. But rushing next to 2, legit all-pro type players, I think he's going to have a pretty good shot at doing that.
He's got the easiest job in that scenario. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely.
So they're meeting out there in Vegas. They're meeting their criteria. For the Chiefs, they met criteria number 1, got Chris done. Okay. Number 2 is the corner spot. And the more I think about it, the more that, as intriguing as draft capital is, if the market's not there, and I think we would have heard something by now if there was a big payer out there, somebody who's willing to give him a $100 million contract or something like that. The more I think about that, the more I think I'd rather just bring him back. If you can get the number to a sustainable contract level, I'd rather have LJ back. Where are you at?
Yeah, I would love to have him back. I've never suggested I wouldn't want to have him back. But right now, like you said, they are currently $5 million over the cap. There are certain things that need to have happen. The problem now becomes what has happened today with some trades. The Lions traded for Carlton Davis from the Bucks. They gave up, I believe it was pick 98 for Carlton Davis. Now, LJ is a much better player. That's not even close. I think that NFL teams understand that LJ is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. But it's a depressed cornerback market. It's a depressed trade market. Brian Burns ended a second. Yes, it was like a 30th, 30s, in the 30s. If you guys didn't know, Brian Burns was traded from the Carolina Panthers to the New York Giants for a second and a fifth, and then they gave him a massive extension. So, but Brian Burns is an all-star, all-pro defensive end. Rushes the passer, netted a second and a fifth. Now, we're looking at L'Jarius Sneed somewhere in between. In the 30s, probably I would say in the 40s or 50s is probably the best you can get for L'Jarius Sneed right now. Now that comes into what can the Chiefs do to create some cap space? We know they have Mahomes' contract that they can get money from. They have some extensions, Justin Reed, Travis Kelce, that they could work on to create some more cap space as well. Little things here and there that they can do. But before they can do anything else, they have to do those things. Or they have to trade L'Jarius Sneed and create $19 million in cap space, because that $19 million from the tag is counting against them right now. So they have to do something to make any kind of move at all. So there is that.
And we are under 48 hours until they have to be under the cap. It is officially on Wednesday, I believe 4 p.m. Eastern is the timeline. So they're working away on it. And Jonathan, thanks for the question. You perfectly lit me up there, and I'm sorry I jumped your gun. I should have had you on screen before. Folks, if you want to support the channel, the super chats are the way to do it. We have several of those coming up. The gear store is definitely a way to do it as well. You can get my Rogue Nation flag. You can get the RGR shield head. You can get all of that over there, and the links are down below. We appreciate all the support, and it does help us keep going and bring you new stuff and new software and new visuals and the whole 9 yards. I wouldn't say, other than Wilkins, anything scared me. It's burning down here in Denver. I can see the smoke from Dove Valley right where I'm sitting. Hell is on fire over there. I don't know. I have serious doubts about John Harbaugh in the NFL. I got to tell you, maybe he'd be better in the NBA. I don't know. But certainly the way it's starting, I'm not overly concerned, except for the fact that everybody in the AFC West is coming for the Chiefs specifically. I think the signing of Gus Edwards tells you that. The guy I feel worst for is Austin Eckler having to go to Washington. But there's been some moves, and amongst them are the running backs, right? Why are the running backs going so much, Dan?
Man, this is a direct reflection of the NFL draft. So we're talking about two things really quickly. The running backs, the high-end market running backs are going because there aren't any of those guys in the draft. There just aren't. The one that possibly could have been Travion Henderson, from OSU went back to school. No one expected that to happen. So the one player that could have been like that guy went back to school. So the NFL is like, okay, let's go ahead and get these guys. Let's go get a guy. That's what we have to do, and that's what they are doing. On the flip side, the wide receiver market is very, very slow. You want to know why? Because this is going to be one of the best wide receiver drafts in recent memory. And teams are like, why would I pay this guy, except if you're the Jags, if I can go out and just draft a wide receiver in the first or second round? And again, if you don't know, the Jaguars brought in Gabe Davis, gave him a 3-year deal worth $39 million with a chance to earn up to $50 million for Gabe Davis. All right.
Wow.
That's a $13 million a year contract with the possibility to earn more. Okay.
Wow.
More than MVS got for basically the same player. He's better at the catch point. Sorry for all the Gabe Davis fans out there. So we are seeing two different markets right now for the running backs and the wide receivers. What this is going to do, it's going to make wide receiver demand in the draft specifically. It's going to be tough to get one. But for the Chiefs, if you're looking to bring in a young running back to pair with Isaiah Pacheco, that's going to depress your running back value. They're going to get a pretty good deal on one of these backs in the draft if they choose to draft one. So that's just kind of going over the bases here. But the running backs are going because there aren't any in this draft that teams feel can be a number one guy for them.
And that's really what it comes down to. And I'm just going to show you guys the list of I pulled up wide receivers because you can see there's 2 wide receivers that have been signed. Yeah, in Jacksonville and in Jacksonville. It's quiet otherwise. There's lots of names out there. I think it's also a factor based on knowing that if you want a high-end player, you're going to have to pay for it, like you said, and the draft is coming. But also, I find it very key that the Bengals seem to be in meltdown mode now that T. Higgins doesn't even want to return. That's a situation I think we have to keep an eye on because they'll never trade him to the Chiefs. But hopefully they trade him out of the NFC. That's what I'd like to see myself.
Yeah, I think that I think that they're a team like the Carolina Panthers are going to come calling, but at the end of the day, the Bengals might be like, look, we have control over you for a year, and you may not like it, but we were never giving you an extension anyway because there was zero talk of an extension. And it would be, in my opinion, kind of dumb on their part to not try and get some value in return for T. Higgins. But
the
Bengals are going to Bengal, man. They don't like to spend money unless they have to. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are going to cost them a lot of money. That's what they're going to spend it on.
And it's going to be shredded. I'm ready for that. Thundarius, thank you, buddy. Our first super chat of the night. Three-peat Pat has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? I do like that. Three-peat Pat, three-peat Trav, Stone Cold three-peat. That's what I'm here for.
You want to know what sounds a little bit better? Best team in NFL history.
Well, crap. You're right.
A three-peat's never been accomplished. And if you do that, you will cement yourself as the best team in NFL history. And that, while I love the three-peat Pat Thundarius, it's a fantastic little moniker for it. Labeling yourself as the greatest team to ever live is just above that.
And that makes you the GOAT, in my opinion.
Yes, it does.
That's worth more than those 3 Super Bowls together, right?
That separates you as a quarterback. If Patrick Mahomes three-peats, he can talk about everyone can talk about him being the GOAT, period. Yeah. Because no one's ever done it, not even Brady.
Hell, Tom will. Shout out to our not sponsored sponsor tonight, Upslope Brewing in Boulder, Citra Pale Ale. Thank you, guys. I needed it. We're going to get after it here. Terry, thank you, and thank you. Do you guys see the Chiefs asking about Brown from the Cardinals? I do not. I know you like him more than I, but do you actually think it would happen?
I mean, I know that there's been a few comments in here about him liking a tweet coming to Kansas City, which, I mean, if you guys have seen the wide receiver market, wouldn't you like any tweet about trying to get a contract somewhere? My daughter is invading with, it looks like, what is that? Kind of dinosaur mask or a lizard mask? A dragon mask, maybe? Something like that. I would like to see him in Kansas City, again, if it's going to be a cheaper contract. But if he's asking for 12, 13, 14-ish million dollars, probably not. I'm probably out.
I'm just here to play with the kids. Sorry. If she makes weird faces at me, I'm going to make them back. That's just the way I work.
That's a good
point. You're absolutely right, John. Very, not even unlikely. Like never, ever going to happen. John,
never happen.
It's smarter to try for an offensive tackle in the first and then trade back up to 50-ish for a wide receiver. I'm not sure if the legit starting wide receivers will be there at 64. I disagree. I think for this offense, I think you can do that. I think Rashee Rice proves that. It's not obviously 1-for-1. It's not going to happen every time. The Sky Moore Rashee Rice back-to-back in the areas they were picked gives you an idea that it's worth the effort, but it's not a guarantee. So I think there's less depth. I'd rather have a wide receiver at the 64th available than the tackle that would be there that would be akin to it myself.
No, I understand that for sure. Like that makes a lot of sense. And the more I'm getting into this tackle class, the more I'm thinking you might have a better chance at getting a starter at tackle than you will getting a legit guy at wide receiver in the first round that you might be able to also get in the second round. And I again, depending on who falls, because we don't know, there is not going to be. I know the idea again is the Chiefs trade up. This happened last year. The Chiefs tried. Nobody was willing to answer the phone. The Chiefs are coming off of a repeat Super Bowl. You think teams are going to want to trade up with the Chiefs to help them get better, to get a wide receiver to help Patrick Mahomes? The answer to that question is no. The Chiefs will most likely be stuck at 32 unless Bill Belichick is there, but he doesn't have a team. So that tells you the market that the Chiefs are currently in when it comes to trading up. No one's really going to be helping them. That's just, it's unrealistic at this point. If by chance they do, awesome. But I'm thinking they're going to be at 32 for this draft. once again.
I agree with you for the most part. I will say there are going to be some desperate teams that get themselves in some situations, particularly around quarterbacks. If something falls apart and somebody makes a mistake that should be looking at quarterback in the first and they screw themselves over, or they go wide receiver when they shouldn't, you might get somebody like in panic mode. That's probably the best scenario I can think of to get somebody to come up at 32. I agree with you. They're either going to have to give up capital and move up, or they're probably going to sit there and everybody's going to pay a premium. I don't even know if they'll get answers. So that's where we sit, Jonathan, right now. Appreciate you. With the Raiders starting big defensive lineman, does it put pressure to select an offensive lineman? Not right now, other than the fact that Tooney's hurt. There's some questions coming up here about Tooney and what will happen in his stead for the time being. I won't put it past him playing by the season opener, but I'm not going to bank on it either. I think that's well within the gray area at this point. Maybe you're more optimistic than I am, Dan.
We don't really know what the severity of his injury is. Like that's the thing here. I'm not going to speculate on it because I don't know. But until we get like Joe Tooney had surgery, like until we have all of that information, I don't feel comfortable making a decision here or there. Based off what we know, I would say he's not going to require surgery. At least it should have been done by now. So
I've heard rumors that it has been, and it's a 4-month timeline from now. I don't have that from anyone that I.
Then why don't we have any confirmation?
Exactly.
That is something we should have.
And I hear that from people on Twitter as well. So like it's out there enough. And so I'm telling you guys, that is just a rumor. I have not gotten that confirmed from anyone that I trust. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's also not a done deal.
The Patriots just signed Jacoby Brissett. He's back.
Hey.
I love it. I love it.
I actually like the guy. I don't know why he'd go back there, but that's all right.
Oh, because he's going to mentor whichever rookie they draft. That's what he's going back for. Get a paycheck and to mentor whoever comes back. And also, he probably starts that year anyway.
Yeah, probably. Cushenberry just became the highest paid center in the league. How does that affect Creed Humphrey's future contract? I mean, that's the floor. Creed Humphrey grades out better than Cushenberry, to tell you the truth. And that's just another cinder on the fire here in Denver. To let that guy go when you most likely have to go get a rookie quarterback, to let the center go for that offensive line is ridiculous. Sean Payton's an offensive genius. I'll never take that away from him, but I don't understand what the hell he's doing personnel wise.
He's trying to do exactly what he did in New England or New Orleans. He wants complete control. So he's getting rid of the players that he didn't draft and he didn't have, and he doesn't want, that maybe don't listen to him, that maybe he doesn't like. I don't know. All I know is that keep it coming.
If your enemy is making mistakes, don't interrupt them. Okay. Is there a running back in the later rounds of the draft the Chiefs could be interested in? Sure, all of them. That's where they all belong.
You had a 6th-round pick, I'd be like, yeah. I mean, they have now an extra 5th, which maybe, but it definitely feels like if they had a 6th or a 7th, they'd be all over some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, my personal guy that I've only seen a couple of glimpses of, but you've probably seen more of him, is the Wisconsin back Allen.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of Braylon Allen.
No, okay. I've only seen bits and pieces when he was the opposition, so I'm not sure, but you don't dig him, huh? Okay.
He's basically like a heavier Isaiah Pacheco, in my opinion, but the burst isn't quite there.
Not quite as good. Okay. Anybody that you do like in the later rounds, like the last round?
I mean, the last round, I don't have the information on those running backs. But just real quickly, I'll pull up some players because I think that they will be drafting, at least looking at some running backs. I also would love to see them bring Aaron Jones in.
Yeah, I love that.
Love it. I think Aaron Jones would be fantastic at Kansas City.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to go here, but
we are looking at.
No, go ahead.
No, go for it.
This is a guy that I've had my eye on.
We had a little bit of a.
Yeah. I've had my eye on this dude because I think he's a well-rounded back that can do a little bit of things for you. He didn't have a great season. He played with DJ Uiagalelei. So I like Will Shipley on day 3. I don't think he's a bad back. I think he can do everything Andy would need, and he isn't going to cost you anything. But he's the only guy that I kind of got in my back pocket.
I love him. He's
Yep.
fantastic. He can do it all as well. Like he can do everything that you want from a running back. But for me, it's Frank Gore Jr. I love Frank Gore Jr. I think he's a fantastic, multifaceted player. They asked him to play wide receiver. They asked him to play quarterback. They asked him to play running back at Southern Miss. He can throw the ball. He has really good hands, and he's got good vision and burst. And I'm all about that and running backs. So he's somebody on day 3. I'm absolutely saying, hey, why don't you bring some of that workman's mentality that your father has and bring it to Kansas City? Because I love that.
Yeah, I'm here for it. That's cool. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else, but we will round back into running backs. You guys know how I feel. They'll be the last position that I look at in earnest when we come up to it. Tatum, thank you very much. Appreciate you, buddy. Cody, nice to see you. Jonah Williams or Mekhi Becton, if you had to, and why would you choose them? Williams, because Becton won't stay healthy. Williams might not either, but there's a better chance.
Much better chance. And Mekhi Becton has never stayed healthy. And honestly, he's never played good football in his NFL career. He just hasn't. Jonah Williams 2 years ago was a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. That is on his resume. He has it there somewhere. And for whatever reason, it fell away. And if I'm betting on someone to get it back out, it's Andy Heck.
Okay. I can take a roll with that. I think, honestly, right now, barring a first-round selection, I think the answer is going to be Donovan Smith. I'm just going to tell you guys. It would not be surprising to me at all if they're just like, you know what? It worked for one. We're going to run it back. Info, given lackluster trade comps and the insane contracts for average guards and wide receivers, does Sneed at Jay Johnson's contract suddenly seem better than giving 3/4 of that money to an average wide receiver? I mean, Jalen Johnson is a good corner. He's not better than Jerry Sneed, in my opinion. So, yes, any discount off of that would be a good deal in my book.
Yeah, I don't disagree, except he has the feather in his cap that LJ doesn't. He has second team All Pro last year. And that should be what teams are saying, or at least the Chiefs are saying, look, he has that and you don't. Like, I don't know what you want from us, but no team is going to give you more than he got. So maybe you should think about what your options are going to be. Also on top of the Chiefs getting a pick for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. Did the Mahomes contract even get even better with Cousins' crazy deal? $100 million guaranteed with the Falcons. I thought it was 50 guaranteed. Did I read it wrong?
I don't know. I thought it was I think you had to have it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money.
Dang. I mean, the guy got like a fully guaranteed contract from the Vikings. He goes and does this. He's got probably the best toolbox to work with. They have to build him an offensive line in the draft and hope that they can put it together because he ain't running away from nobody. I'm a little shocked that he left Minnesota myself. But yeah, that is definitely, and Jeremy, you nailed it. The Mahomes contract looks better every damn year, no matter what.
That's why it's going to get reworked at some point.
Yeah, it's going to have to. Any interest in Bakhtiari? He's supposed to be released. Or is he like Tyron Smith, older and injury concerns? Yes, he definitely is. The question is, running this offense, more zone, more 45 dropbacks. I don't know. Do you think Bakhtiari would this be a less what do you call it? Grind on him in Reed's offense than it was in the Green Bay offense?
No. I also read that he can't even play on turf. So games where you go somewhere else, he won't even play for you. He won't play.
Nope.
So yeah, big no. He probably is going to retire.
Go back to singing a cappella. I'm here for it. It's all right. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you and your support as always, pal. Does the Lions trading for Bucks Carlton Davis today signal the Chiefs' price tag for Sneed is high? They were a favorite landing spot for him. See, I never thought that they were. I don't think that relationship is there to get a deal done. Especially everything on there. But the price tag certainly does give you a floor, I think. I just don't know. Everybody's different. And the injury in particular is what's got me worried that there's not as much trade interest for L'Jarius. And the flip side of that is that there's not as much free agent contract for L'Jarius. So if that all comes to light and you can put that in front of not just LJ, but his representation, you might be able to hammer out a lower end deal. And that's what I'm hoping for.
It's true. And there's, I guess, a rumor that when he was at the event with Justin Reed, that he was telling people he'd take a smaller deal to stay in Kansas City, which I don't know if I believe, but it is a rumor that was put out there, and I'd be happy. I'd be happy to
Me
see
too.
that coming out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Matt. Is Callahan ready and capable
Oh,
of
Matt.
taking over for Allegretti?
Matt, I appreciate the support, my guy. I appreciate it. We love you, and I can't thank you enough. But that guy should not be re-signed, maybe by any team.
He's an exclusive rights free agent, so he costs about $150. They put the tag on him today, so he will be back.
I know.
He's nowhere near ready. No, Matt.
I
Unfortunately,
just
no.
don't think he's any good, and I don't think he's ever going to be any good. And I think that Allegretti is somebody that they should prioritize in free agency to bring back.
Agreed.
Because he's important. That sixth man is huge, and he's
epic.
huge.
Yeah. It's absolutely, especially with the Tooney injury. It's absolutely epic. And I don't know if Callahan is ever going to grow into anything. What I saw when he got into a regular season game did not impress me, and I was not happy with. He is not ready. But doesn't mean we won't ever be. Maybe you're right, Dan, and he just can't get there. Stranger lightning bolts have hit. I don't know, but I agree with you completely. Allegretti is a must re-sign, no matter what. As is your guy, Mike. I don't even know how to put it. Like, I need a better nickname for him. Mike Dana should have a badass nickname, and I don't have one.
Yeah, he's just one of those soft-spoken guys that just continues to come in. He best year of his career last year, and just does work. Just keeps getting better, and I love it. So, hopefully, but I think he might get a little bit more money than the Chiefs are willing to pay him.
Yeah, that's my expectation too. I just thought we'd hear something by now, to tell you the truth. I mean, he should be out there. I'm surprised at this point. Corbin, Calvin Ridley, AD Mitchell, an LT and free agency, and we eat like kings for an easy three-peat. I don't know, man. I'm not, and I'm going to leave AD to Dan because you've done way more work on him than me, and I might have a rash opinion. I don't think Calvin Ridley can do a whole lot for you in this particular offense that MVS didn't. Maybe he catches the ball better, but if you remember that midseason streak, he couldn't catch a cold, and I'm not ready for that again.
So I'm on the opposite end with you. I like Calvin Ridley a lot. My problem is going to be his contract. So he comes in as your ex receiver, and he's going to be making $18-ish million a year. Look at what, again, market demands. Look at what Gabe Davis just got. The fact that he got $13 million a year says Calvin Ridley's not getting anywhere less than $17-18 million a year. And on the Chiefs, I am not paying him that much money to come here and be my ex receiver when I can draft someone, bring somebody in like Josh Reynolds for $6 million a year and have him do the exact same thing in terms of volume. Okay. I don't have to force it to Calvin Ridley. I don't have to do that.
Right.
So that's a no for me, Corbin, just because he's going to be so expensive. AD Mitchell is a good player. I'm not here to dog on the player. I'm more trying to figure out what he is in the NFL.
So is he.
Because his testing numbers do not match his film in the slightest. And again, I went back to the film after his combine. It's not there. That 4.35 is fake. It's fake. It's not real in terms of play speed. And we saw it in the drills. He never touched, he not even got close to that speed in the drills. That's something we need to consider. So a guy like Keon Coleman, who didn't run a good 40, but was the top 3 fastest player on the field in every single drill, tells you, he knows what he's doing. So I like AD Mitchell specifically at his size and his athletic ability. I'm not taking him in the first round myself, but again, 32 is different. It's a different thing. It's a different scenario. So left tackle is, I don't know. And you guys are going to find out on Wednesday how I feel about the trenches positions. Okay. Do what the Eagles do. Throw bodies, draft bodies, bring them all in, start your best 5. Don't care. That's all you got to do.
Mix and match. It doesn't
That was
matter.
a very long explanation, and I apologize because we should probably get a little bit faster for the 818 people in here.
Damn. Okay, I'll get going. I agree. AD Mitchell is a 50 to 60 slot player for me. Jags made some moves. Yes, they did. 2 wide receivers. Looks like they did something else, but I don't recognize the name, so we're not going to go into it. But yes, Doug, they're on the board. Maybe that makes them feel good. I'm not sure why, but maybe it does. Will that knee injury keep hurt that Sneed pops out? Yes. That's the issue in my mind, Terry, why teams don't seem to be very hot on LJ's trail. Lukewarm is probably how I would put it. And I think it's not only that it's a knee injury, that it's a recurring knee injury. So, bargain contract with a team that knows you and appreciates you. I think that's the best way forward for him. Johnny, my top 5 targets are as follows: Ridley, DJ Reader, Tyron Smith, Daryl Mooney, and Aaron Jones. What do you think, Dan?
All right, so we did talk about Calvin Ridley already, so I can't go there. DJ Reader's coming off an injury, and he's going to be asked to be paid a lot of money. That's another no for me. Tyrone Smith is the only guy I'm entertaining. I know you're only getting 12 games out of him, but he's not going to be super expensive. It shouldn't be super expensive coming off multiple seasons where he didn't finish the year of injury. And again, if you draft a young player who's learning most of the season before he goes out, you can just hopefully plug and play if he gets hurt at that point. So I get Tyrone Smith a lot. I think he's going to a team that needs young quarterback, that's going to get a young quarterback play. That's what I think is going to happen. Darnell Mooney is probably asking for $10 million a year. No thanks. Aaron Jones, yes, bring him in because he's not going to be super expensive. He's coming off an injury. He looked very good last year in the postseason. For the Packers, he looked very good. And as a compliment to Isaiah Pacheco, it's beautiful. So yes, absolutely. I don't mean to just kind of.
Is that what we're doing?
Just dump on you, Donnie. But
no, when you ask about 5 players, you give 5 answers. That's great. Let me twist it just a little bit for you, Dan, because Darnell Mooney at 7, I'm a little bit more okay with.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. If he's asking for $7 million, yeah, okay. I'm okay with that.
Rock and roll. Okay, I would do that too. Minotaur, thank you very much. For those of you out there that are receiving free memberships to this channel, you can thank Minotaur because he did it. You're going to get in at the rookie level. You're going to be able to do you're going to be in the draft pick level and be able to do some cool stuff here in the chats, which we do every Monday, most Fridays, and most Sundays. You get some stray ones in there as well in the midweek, but that's when we do most of our. So you can always check those out. And if you want to go up from there, you can get to all the extra content behind the scenes, the rants, the truth that we won't tell the public, even if we're only hearing it as a rumor, because I try not to be wrong in public. You can get all that in the rookie memberships or above. But thank you, Minotaur, for getting us going. And thank you for everyone who gets one of those. Thank Minotaur. Des, thank you, buddy. What holes can be filled in the draft? Honestly, I think they can get all of it done in the draft if they have to. They can plug guys in that could develop. Obviously, the later round picks need more time to develop, right? But I've done a couple of experiments just in trading back and that kind of thing, and I can get them up to 10, 11 picks if they need to. If they need to go super young and try to fill the ranks that way, it can be done. What do they have, 22 free agents right now? They got to get some of that done, but it's possible.
I don't know if you can do all of it, specifically because I think that they still have high-value needs. And, again, I still think they need a backup running back. And I don't think they're going to get one because they have other positions too. Again, if you trade L'Jarius Sneed, that adds cornerback to the list. I still think you need to draft a defensive tackle, an offensive lineman, wide receiver, maybe a backup tight end. I don't know. There's lots of different things that they need to do, and I don't know if they, can get it all done in the draft. But I do know wide receiver, tackle, and not offensive line, tackle, and defensive tackle are going to be drafted this year. I'm almost positive on that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Thanks, Des. Oregon, everybody comes for the Chiefs every year. You're absolutely right. Fools and their money are easily parted. And that's the thing. Spending heavy has not worked for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't think it's going to work this year either. You got to be smart about what you're plugging into what you already have. And I think people get panicked to try to chase down the champs. Minotaur with a comment as well. Looking for some support on the left side of my screen here, dare I say it. Defense wins championships. Let's draft Darius Robinson. Absolutely. 64 Darius Robinson, I'm fine with.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it. I think it's fantastic at 64. The problem is that people are rejecting him at 32. I'm out.
Right.
And also, I think he's a defensive tackle. I don't think he's a defensive end in the league, but he offers you positional versatility, which is always fantastic. And that's, again, on day 2, it's beautiful. It's beautiful because there are a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent there. He's a little rigid for my liking. He's a little forward. He's a little forward, and his hips don't exactly.
He's Mike Danna with better production in the SEC. That's what I'm saying.
He's a better pass rusher, but he's got a better tool bag. That his push pull is devastating. It is disgusting. And he's going to be pretty good run defender. But in my opinion, I'm throwing him behind Chris Jones, and I'm like, hey, Chris, when you need a breather, you want to go to the outside, we're just going to slide Darius right in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I just like the versatility in the fact that I thought Mike was pretty stiff coming out as well. I see them movement-wise very, very similarly. You're right. Playing in the SEC, he is a better pass rusher in terms of tool set.
Yeah.
But Mike was a low-end draft pick. Let's be real. Pushing Darius,
and they traded up for him because no one expected him to go in the 5th.
Right. And pushing Darius into the 1st, I think, is a disservice to the expectations on him. That to me, where it's not Clyde's fault that he didn't live up to a 1st-round pick.
Correct. Yeah.
Thanks, Minotaur. Thank you, Doug. Veach always goes to a tier 2 and 3 in free agency anyway. He usually does because they never have a whole lot of money to spend. And that's unfortunately the situation they're going to be in now, unless they get LJ traded or signed so they can get some of that 19 back. There's also the restructure from Holmes. They seem to be ready to pull the trigger, but I haven't seen it yet. We might hear about that the next 48 hours.
It's going to have to be because they have to get cap compliant. And that's one of the only ways they can do that right now.
Henry. Who's Henry?
Derrick Henry.
Derrick? Oh, no, we wouldn't want to do that.
I would. I absolutely would.
Really? You think you still got it left?
I absolutely do. Their offensive line's been garbage in the last 2 years. He's still been good. Give him a better offensive line with this scheme and Patrick Mahomes. I'm cooking with gas right now, and I want it so bad. The problem is going to be the contract because I'm not paying him very much money. I'm not doing it. Hey, Derek, you actually win a ring? Come on over here.
If it works, I'm all for it. But he looks like the engine smoking to me, and I'm worried it's going to seize at any moment. We could see the end. Oh, I don't know. Jamie, thank you. Nice. Appreciate the support. I will look for a comment as well and try to get back to you. Reed Pete.
Thank you.
I like that.
Loving it. The Reed Pete.
Yeah. Shoot. We're going to turn that into a McDonald's commercial. Damn.
Yeah. We are.
Latavius, so nice to see you, buddy. Can you tell me why you pick Ladd over Xavier on Locked On? Is he that good? Yes. Ladd is that good. Ladd can play 3 positions right now. He may have a little bit of an injury thing. So will Leggett. Leggett has, I think, build-up straight line speed. He does not have the short area quickness on film that I want.
I just agree with that, but okay.
That's fine. Like I was just about to say, you've done more work on him than I have. So I fully admit that. But from what I've seen, I don't see enough to make me take him over McConkey. How do you feel?
Ladd's a finished product, in my opinion. Like, he is what he is, and he's going to be a very good get-open player. I have questions about what he can actually do on the outside in the NFL. And now he did a much better job against cover 3 corners in the SEC. I think that in the NFL, he'll be a much more difficult task for him to get open downfield and against press man coverage. You don't see a ton of press man coverage anyway.
Dan will come back here in a second, but that's okay. Dan's done a ton of work on all the receivers. So you guys, I will default to him.
I don't know why this
because
happens.
of the hours he's put into it. And that's the problem is Leggett is a 1-year wonder, and he does have upside because he hasn't gotten to his full. Oh, and Dan's back. Okay.
Does my screen just like go blank? Is that what happened?
Yeah. We just
that's hilarious. That's so weird.
Usually it's me. What the hell's going on?
I know. I don't know, man. That is weird. So yeah, I think that if you're drafting for like need right now, you're going to take Ladd McConkey. You're going to profit because he's going to be that third down guy. He's going to get open all the time underneath, and he still has speed. If you're trying to get someone that you could develop into an AJ Brown type of player, eventually, it's Deebo Samuel. Or it's Xavier Leggett. I think right now he's closer to Deebo Samuel. I think his upside is AJ Brown ish. I mean, he can't get to actually what AJ Brown is, but I think he's a Deebo Samuel player right now.
Really? I don't see the loose hips, the elusiveness of Debo at all in Legette's game.
I mean, he's not a running back. I think he's what Debo is as a wide receiver. He runs good dig routes, and then he's better at the catch point. He's more physical. And he's a good yak player. I think he's not as straight line acceleration based as Debo is. He can go 0 to 100 pretty quickly. But I do think he has the change of direction. But he's got 4.39 speed. Like he has legit good speed. So it's there as well.
Yeah, and for those of you asking, he and McConkey ran the same time. McConkey's got a little bit better 10 split, but they have the same top end speed.
I don't think that's on film, by the way. I don't think Ladd's speed's there on film, like on his game tip, but that's also usage based. That's not necessarily his fault.
True. Legette is definitely more explosive, though. I will tell you that. I really want to see the league be so sick of the Chiefs that they quit on all their teams. Yeah, I would love that. If everybody just took their ball and went home, I'm fine racking up W's without playing ball games.
It's great. It'd be fantastic.
What are the drawbacks of the CJ contract? That those the back end looks eek. I haven't seen all the numbers laid out. Let me pull it up and we'll take a look at it together.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see here. I probably have to blow that up. Apologies, folks. There we go. So it looks like the details have come through. And it's what? Yearly cash. The cap number 7 in the first. Sounds like a Chiefs contract. Super low base salary. And 6. So prorated signing bonus here is 6.
Should be.
No. That comes out. That's 30 million guaranteed. This is the interesting part. These roster bonuses. You know who else has roster bonuses that are pretty chunky? Yeah, Pat Mahomes. So that's an interesting thing here. And then 0 roster bonuses in 27-23. That's why you'll see Spotrac put this in as a cap out, paying him 3 at 95. If that's the way it comes down, if you get 3 years out of Chris Jones and he's played his 32nd year season, and you part ways at that point, I think you've gotten the best for both of these parties in this deal, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And at the end of the day, this is going to come down to postseason sacks and Super Bowl victories. If he doesn't perform in the postseason in this contract, it will not be worth it.
Yeah, that's true. And I'll go out on a limb here. And Andy Reid, you can hold this against me later if you want to, but I'm just going to put it out there. I don't need Chris Jones in camp. Last year proved to me I don't need that wear and tear on him. I would give him camp off, or at least just have him do walkthroughs. He doesn't need the reps, and he doesn't need the grind. And that will help you get the bang out of the buck of this contract that you just paid for. And I'm happy with that.
I'd go as far to say I don't need him on first down.
Well, hell, that's a whole different story, yeah.
if it's second and third down, sure. I don't need to see him on first down.
Jeremy, Rhino's Dan a beer for holding it down. I owe more than that. You guys don't even know. Yeah, I do. Maybe that's what we'll do. Next time we're together, we'll just film a drunken payoff for Dan. Here, have another because I owe you.
I do get compensated for my time, guys. I do get compensated for my time.
Des, thanks, buddy. How realistic is Sneed playing on the tag? And if so, what comp picks would his comp pick be if he left? The only tweak there is the injury thing. All goes to plan. He gets you a 3rd round pick because he will play. He will be at an all-pro level. He might not get recognized, but he will play that way unless the knee gives him trouble. And so I don't think it's realistic that he plays on the tag at all. I think they're going to have to either move him or sign him, and that's that. But I said that last year with Chris.
Yeah, I mean, he said that he'll play on the tag if necessary, but I don't think anyone wants it to come to that. I don't think that nobody wants that because the Chiefs don't get anything for it outside of a season of L'Jarius Sneed, and he doesn't get paid right away. and it would hurt him if he plays on the tag. It would. It just would. This is not it's not going to be a Kirk Cousins situation. You're not going to tag him and then tag him again, and he's just going to ball out. It doesn't work that way, specifically for 27-year-old corners. It just doesn't.
It's tough. Thank you, Des. Appreciate you, buddy. It'll never happen, but I'd love Armstead to come to KC since the Niners come. I would too, and I won't say it won't never happen. He's buddies with Menahue. You just can't pay him.
He's got some foot problems, though.
Yeah, I have.
He has some foot injury stuff. And that scares me a little bit. So if the contract is cheap enough, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about investing multi-year guaranteed money into that, I get very skittish very quickly.
No, this is a hey, buddy, we're circling wagons for a three-peat. You want in on this? We'll pay you a hamburger on Tuesday.
You lost to us twice now. Come on and join the team. You lost.
That comes up. He might come over. I gotta tell you, bro seems traumatized by this team. I gotta tell you,
Ayuk wants out of San Francisco anyway. I'm just saying,
dude. That I would give up capital for.
He's worth more than a first
this
round
offense. Pick. Hell, it's over. It's over. Quinn Pete. I'm terming it right now, folks. When they go for 5 in a row, Quinn Pete. That's what I'm going for.
Let's go.
Chase Claypool is a dude. He is a dude.
He's a guy for sure.
He's a bad locker room guy. But he had Canada's OC. Everybody would be disgruntled. He was disgruntled before that as well. I said it the year that he came out. He should have been converted to tight end. He'd be a great move tight end. You could line him up in the slot when you wanted to. The guy I just don't think loves football. This is what it comes back to. And we're going to talk about this all for the next 3 months. I just don't think he loves football.
He doesn't. He does put the work in. He's the same player he was in college. The exact same player. He has not gotten any better. In fact, I'd argue he's gotten worse. And I
would agree.
You got to put the time in. You have to have the work ethic. And that's something my buddy Damien and I have talked about with some of these guys coming out recently. I don't know much about players' work ethics. He's much more connected to agents and things like that. So he tells me some things about some players. And I'm just like, okay, we have some work ethic information here that is important. Tyreek Hill did not become the best receiver in football because he sat in his hands and said, I'm a great athlete. I'm just going to win that way. No, he became a legitimately great route runner. Yes, he has struggles with drops. He works on his hands all the time. All the time. He's always getting better. So you have to have the dog mentality to go with the athletic dog mentality. You have to have both of those things to want to get better. And I don't think Claypool has it.
We definitely have to. Folks, we got to speed up because we got a bunch of super chats to get to, and we are definitely going to do that because we guarantee you every super chat gets an answer, even if I have to go over. Voodoo said, the BY tackle is my dream at 32. Brother, from what we saw in Alabama, that's going to be a nightmare. I might wake up okay if it's 64, but 32 I ain't doing.
Here's a better situation for you. If it's Tyron Smith and Kingsley at 32.
And
how do you feel about that?
Still a wasted pick at 32, in my opinion.
It's not for me because again, you're not picking again until 60.
If he's not a guy that can walk in and win the starting job, he doesn't belong as a first round pick. Period.
Again, he's not. We didn't have first round grades on. We didn't have a first round grade on FAU. We didn't have a first round grade on a lot of these players that came out and are end of first round picks.
I know.
At 32, you are sacrificing a top 50 selection, essentially saying we're not picking again until 64. Where is our grade? If we have a guy that could possibly become there, you're drafting him at 32. That's what they did with FAU, and that's what they would do if it were Kingsley there, because it's kind of the same situation. He's got a lot in the toolbox, but he played left and he played right. He didn't play one specific position the last 2 years, which didn't do him any services. I'm going to be watching him this week, by the way.
And don't get me wrong, coming into this season, I was very high on him, but he didn't live up to my expectations.
Position switch.
That's why.
Yep, position switch. That's exactly why he didn't.
And unfortunately, it's almost like the more you can do is actually hurting you in this situation. So
familiar. Friend alert. Old friend alert. Tommy Townsend had signed a 2-year, $6 million deal with the Houston Texans.
He took $3 million. Could have been a Chief. Just telling you, Tommy, could have been a Chief. took 3. Are you
apparently he
kidding me?
wanted more money. I guess
Oh,
I'm not entirely
man.
sure what the deal was there, but maybe he wanted out. Maybe he was done. I don't know.
Well,
I got a few rings. I'm good to go.
yeah, okay. Which 3 wide receivers outside of Worthy and McConkey fit in Kansas City? Anybody who played for UW. I think both the guys from Florida State.
Come here. Just come here real quick, guys.
Just us.
It's Jalen McMillan. It's Jalen McMillan. He's 6'1". I didn't expect to be the 6'1". He's going to be like a 4th round pick. And because of his injury, he's going to be a steal. And he's probably, in my opinion, better than Jalen Polk for this offense.
I disagree.
For this offense.
Disagree, but I like where you're going. Yeah. I will. I just have a thing for Polk. It's all right. We did.
I understand. I get it. I see DeMarcus Robinson like type of player in this offense. With Polk. I think that's what he would be.
I like both the Florida State guys in this draft. I actually like the local kid, Flournoy. I like him in this offense.
Oh, for sure. Like as a 6th round pick. Like for
sure. Absolutely. I am sold on it. But he was just asking about picks. Somebody else is on my mind, but I can't think of it, Des. I will come back to it. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Gary, do you see that Veach will do good with picking up players that don't get drafted this year? I don't know. It feels like he should, especially given the positional value, but I don't know. The last couple, I mean, Isaiah was draft pick. That's the only reason I'm setting him apart. I don't know. I don't have a good feel for it. Do you, Dan? UDFA
This
hits?
Draft isn't great in day 3, like 6th, 7th round picks. Because of the COVID year, it kind of ruined a lot of the draft, the late round stuff. Jim Nagy's talked about it at nauseum. Honestly, we had him on the draft show that I do with Cover One with my buddy John, and he talked about how the COVID year and some of the things that have happened with that destroyed the late round depth. So I'm interested to see what happens there, because again, we don't have all the athletic numbers there, and the Chiefs like their athletes on day 3, like a lot of teams. So that's what we're going to look at. I don't know if there's going to be any like real money thrown around for priority UDFAs. I just don't see that happening.
It's the pocketbook is thin, my friend. Doug, Pony from the Jayhawks playing all positions on the O-line is so valuable. I really like him. I see him as his floor being Allegretti.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And he can play tackle, which is something Allegretti can't do. And I love that. Yeah. He's a solid, like, top 75 player, in my opinion, in this draft.
Yeah.
He improved his draft stock so much with the Senior Bowl and then the Combine. He's a good player, a very good, solid player. And like you said, that positional versatility in today's NFL, so valuable.
It's money. If the Chiefs didn't have 2 high priority needs, I would say there was a chance to go try to move up and do that, because it is value in protecting Mahomes. Absolutely. If they choose to get a tackle done before the draft, maybe that becomes a possibility.
Yeah.
Who knows? I like where you're at, Doug. Sugary, no moment wide receiver. Should we expect this to be the Chiefs' first move? I don't think so. The first moves will be L'Jarius no matter what.
For sure.
Fatanu, Mims, Guyton, and any wide receiver you guys see that is legit round 1 wide receiver are gone at 32. And Bowers is there at 24 or lower. Do you see the Chiefs moving up to grab a Kelsey replacement? I don't think he'll fall to 24. And you just can't ignore your 2 biggest needs. Some people will say that Bowers can be a wide receiver. I can see that. Travis lines up as wide receiver a lot. I just can't see making a capital move to give up more draft picks to get there myself.
No. I don't think team's going to let him either. Honestly, if he's fallen to 24, he's probably getting drafted at 24. but yeah, typically it's because there's a good reason.
Yeah. Donnie, any details y'all like in free agency, Rankins or Kinlaw? I can live with Rankins. I won't pay Kinlaw. What do you got?
Kinlaw has been very disappointing for me. I was a big fan out of South Carolina, and he has been.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just looking at the free agent list. We can snag it together here, Donnie. My main man went number 1.
Yeah.
I love seeing George Armstrong get paid. I'm just saying.
He got absolutely paid. That's
good
great.
For him. God. Mark Stout completely overdrafted. I was hopeful that AJ Epinesa was going to hang around as a low-end, long guy. You know it is. Ogba's still out there. You could see a reunion. You just can't pay. What's the deal with Ngakoue? Is he a head case? What's the deal?
No one wants to sign him. I'm gonna stay away too. I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, works for me. But no, there's not a whole lot. I could see Tim Settle, obviously Mark Purcell. You know, Ridgeway is intriguing, but man, he just hasn't hit for a guy that's 29 already. So
Yeah.
no, this is not a class that I'm really going shopping for, Donnie. Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Addicted, not a Chiefs question, but Jayhawks are 12-0. Book it. Rock chalk, baby. I am here for you, brother, and I really, really appreciate that. Let's hope that you're correct. Longmorn, do you think PM15's contract gets redone soon to give more cap space? Excuse me. I have a feeling after this season, when it starts to heat up, it might be after 25. I don't know how you feel, Dan.
Yeah, I think that he's going to get redone quickly, and specifically, I think it'll be after this next Trevor Lawrence stuff gets redone. Maybe before Trevor Lawrence gets done. Next, yeah, he hasn't been signed yet, has he?
Not that I saw. No.
Okay.
Now I got to check. Dang it. Here,
that was his third year. Right? That was his third year. This was his third year, so he's eligible for an extension now.
I thought he was going fifth year. I don't know.
No, his first year was under the guy who we will not mention.
Sorry,
the guy who the last 2 years, were under Doug Peterson, right? That's 3 years. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Good counting.
Okay, so he's eligible for an extension now. I don't think it's going to get done until next year. Maybe it gets done this offseason. I don't know. But my bet would be he didn't play very well last year, so maybe they're going to try and get that done now. But he's going to say, no, I'm going to bet on myself. So next year, before that gets done, I would imagine Patrick Mahomes gets his contract redone.
Yeah. Pono, how do we come to terms with the Wilkinson to the Raiders move? You do what you did to the Dolphins. You double them, you put them in the ground, and you keep them from making your life hell. It can be done. He's a great player, but the Chiefs were able to deal with him in Miami. They'll be able to deal with him here. Yeah. It's not like they have another. Max Crosby's not another interior player. If you had 2 tackles like that, you're in trouble. But you can deal with it. I'm not too worried. Dub Freak Freer, thank you, buddy. And thank you for gifting the community memberships.
Thank you very much.
You were rocking it. Callie, nice to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing good. I'm late. You guys may have covered it but Aaron Jones, yes, we are both in on Aaron Jones, dude.
All right. So quick update, everyone. It was just reported by Jeremy Fowler that the Chiefs remain interested in Darnell Mooney, again, because of the connection with Matt Nagy. So that has been now confirmed that they are interested. It's got to be right. If it's too much, I'm mad because he's.
It can't be an MVS contract. It's not there. That's the cornerstone for me. Callie, we're both in on Aaron. It's just about the money here, but yeah, we'd like to have a second punch to go with Pacheco. Totally with you. And thanks for the support, bro. Will, thank you. Hearing Ridley wants to play for a team that goes to Vegas once a year. Thoughts? Hey, sure.
I wonder why he wants to go to Vegas once a year.
Yeah, I mean, y'all remember the suspension, right, folks? Last question. Any linebackers in free agency that y'all like? Yeah, his name's Willie Gay.
I really like that. That's the guy. That's the guy. That's it. And if it's not Willie Gay, it's nobody.
Yeah, I'm just going to double check here at inside linebackers, and I'm going to call that because Spot Track calls everyone else edge rushers. If we go to that and pass on Devin White, I mean, I don't know. All the hype did not live up to him. Everybody else is getting up there. Bush, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen film in a while. I'm not paying Patrick Queen what he's going to want.
No.
Zeke Turner. Cunningham's getting up there. Yeah. I'm going hard after bringing my guy back.
It's just Willie.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Donnie. Appreciate you. Love the content. Thank you, Lintavious.
Thank you.
What's Rasheed's ceiling now seeing his development, his connection with Patrick? What do you think?
His ceiling is dependent upon his usage. Cut and dry. If he's used as the same player that he was last year, his ceiling is a great number 2 that is excellent after the catch, but is seldom used anywhere else. That has to change for his ceiling to change. He needs to run more routes. He needs to win from the X position. if he can start winning against press man coverage when asked to, we're talking about a purebred number one wide receiver. But they are not asking him to do that. So we'll see next year how that turns out, because that is the only way I can tell you. It's the only way.
Yeah, you just got to get a little bit more vantage point. Mike, thank you, buddy. Free agent off the radar that we might sign.
I mean, those ones are all gone, aren't they?
Yeah, everybody that thought it was a pretty good value is kind of walking already. I'll tell you, I'll give you one. I think he's going to be a bargain pick, and I don't think they're going to bring him back to his last team. And I like that if you pair with another, because I believe the bigger receivers in the draft class, more physically imposing receivers, are the best in this draft class. I would not mind seeing Braxton Berrios on this roster for the
we talked about
underneath
this.
work, the punt return. Yeah. Okay,
Love
we
it.
have crap.
Yeah, no, I've mentioned it like a ton before. Like I've loved to be. I would love for him to be in Kansas City, because he's a perfect go win in the slot, yards after the catch, punt return guy. Like, he's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah,
I love where your head's at.
We're on the same page. Okay, I thought I just forgot because I'm old and dumb, so you never know.
No, you're not.
Sammy, great show. Is Mike Edwards re-signing likely, or do we keep Younger at safety? I think it's all about the market. There's a lot of safeties out there, and I don't think his value is going to be there. I don't know how you feel, Dan.
No, I don't know either. I think that they're going to go after somebody a bit better personally, myself. But Mike Edwards, again, the safety market is kind of, it was injected with a lot of talent this last two weeks ish. So it's going to be tough for him to get maybe a contract he wanted to get. And that does make him more apt to re-sign in Kansas City. And just a quick one-off here. My apologies. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh.
I'm just skipping around here. Thank you very much, Sammy. I appreciate the support and the question. I just want to address this really quickly. I have concerns about AD Mitchell's work ethic. He doesn't run routes half the time. He stands around. I know Dr. Durden has also asked about the AD Mitchell stuff. He has work ethic concerns for me. He doesn't run full routes. He quits on routes. He quits on blocking assignments. And I don't like that. And that pushes you down in my grades, in my rankings. If you are not a, pure every single time the ball is thrown your way, winning, and he's not winning all the time. So I have questions about his work ethic personally. And that's why I'm down on him.
And I agree with you. And I have questions about his awareness. He lets guys undercut him on routes, take the ball away, knock it away. He doesn't play hard. While he'll use his hands, he's not forceful with it. He's not physical with it when he can be. And so it's the detail stuff for me. And that, just to chime in and help you out there, Dan. It's not just Dan that thinks AD Mitchell is overhyped right now. Carson, do you think the Chiefs should sign Chris Conley or Byron Pringle? Put the band back together again.
I mean, Byron, sure. And Chris Conley for those like 2 plays that he was open in the Super Bowl. Yeah, you want to give me those, buddy? I'm all in. I'm all in. You want to be a gunner on punt return team? Absolutely. I'll take it all.
I am totally with you. I like me some Chris Conley. Are you guys surprised Willie has not signed anywhere yet? Pleasantly so.
Yeah, very much so. There's been no linebacker activity, which helps him because, again, there are some other players that are going to get moved. Devin White, and even though he's not very good, he's going to get moved. And the other Buccaneer linebacker that is Levante David, who's way better than he is, and he's a little bit older now, still has not re-signed. So I'm interested there.
Bucks had a lot of fish to fry, and I think they kind of prioritized those guys lower than obviously Evans, Baker, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hot take, but after Richie, Sky Moore, and McCole, I'm kind of tired of the small slot receiver. Unfortunately, you love a team that has Andy Reid, and he loves smaller receivers. That's why I'm not as high on Worthy or McConkey as you guys are. But hey, I might be wrong. Hey, we might be wrong. Evaluating receivers in college is always different. It's there's the system, there's the whole 9 yards. But Andy always he's not afraid of the undersized guys. He doesn't have to have size because he wants versatility and he wants ability to be able to come up with all of his craziness and have the athletes to run it. So
the one thing I'll say about Worthy is that, he's 5'11", but he has more room to bulk up his frame. And he's taller than all 3 of those guys and would be able to put on a little bit of weight. And he's far better quick twitch sideline lateral agility than McCole, Sky, or Richie James have ever been. So that's the only thing I'll say. And I mean, Sky still is. I still have hope for Sky. I still do, because his physical makeup is different from those other guys too. He's not just this slight guy. He's like 220 pounds, and he can still run halfway decent routes. And if he's used in the slot this year, we'll see that come to fruition a little bit, I think.
I completely agree. Let Rasheed be outside.
Yeah.
Tad, thank you. Appreciate you
Tad.
very much. It's our last super chat of the night. I just want to close it up with, how do you feel right now about where they sit? Are you concerned? Are you everything status quo exactly as you expected? What's your feeling?
Yeah, this is what I expected. Again, we saw that the Chiefs were $5 million over right now. They're still working on. I think that they're talking with L'Jarius. Like you can't just be not doing anything. The Chiefs have been on the phone. Obviously, they're interested in Darnell Mooney, but they still need to create cap space. So they're trying to figure out what's going on with L'Jarius first and foremost, like you mentioned earlier, to tell them what they have to do, and then from that point, they're going to start to make some moves and things like that. I do think a Justin Reed extension is in the works. He's been so good. Specifically the last 2 years in the postseason, he's been excellent. And I understand that PFF doesn't like him. I don't really care. As we all know, I don't care about that. I watch what he does on the field, and he's a very good player and helped Shamar Connor be what he was down the stretch. The loss of Brian Cook put more work on Justin Reed's plate than anybody else. And they almost didn't lose a beat. So that should tell you how good he played and why I think he deserves an extension. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with where they are.
I completely agree with you. Last question of the night, folks. Make sure you like, sub, hit the bell. If you want to support the channel, you can grab the gear. That's the easiest way. Join us in the memberships, rookie level and above. Get into Discord and all the extra content and all the whole thing. It is draft season, so make sure you go sign up for NFL 33. It is a subscription-based site, but you can get our content that way, and we're going to take you every step of the way through the draft. Does Felix break out this season? Looks like an opportunity will be there. I absolutely agree with you that the opportunity will be there, and I just don't have enough. I thought we saw a nice flash there in the postseason.
Yeah.
If he can build on that, then yes, he might be the surprise.
He flashed a couple times, honestly, throughout the season. Like there was the game against the Chargers early where he beat Rashawn Slater 3 times. He beat him. He just beat him. Like that was real. That's really there. He got better as a run defender as the year went along too. Like the snaps that he was out there, he got better in understanding that. And obviously the TFL and the Super Bowl shows you a little bit of how the Chiefs were using him that way as well. So it's going to take, I think, some muscle mass as well. He's got to put on a little bit of weight, and hopefully this offseason workout program will give him a little bit more of that mass. But it again, like you said, the opportunity is there, and it's going to be prime for the taking, especially if they don't bring back Mike Dana, and he's going to need to take a big step this year.
Agreed. And I like your idea, Oregon. If get FAU, we're Tamba. I love that concept. Tamba was on social media about Chris as well, and I appreciate that. Brenda, thank you for being here. Thank all of you for being here. Dan, thanks for going over. We appreciate you very much.
I got lots of work to do. No
Townsend. Yeah, hey, we got that in spades. And Doug, thank you for this. Hit that like button on your way out the door, folks. We appreciate you. We'll have content for you tomorrow. Dan's got film already set up for Wednesday, and I have the Matrix coming. So we have plenty of content that you're going to dig and get you ready for this draft class, depending on what they do here in free agency. So have a great night. Keep your eyes peeled, and we'll hit you with anything important. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you next time.